Later that night, back at the mansion, the hall was quiet. Your heels echoed as you walked to your bedroom. You turned the handle, stepped inside. He was already there, by the window, watching the woods outside. Jungkook? He didn't move. You took a breath and walked closer. Why did you really speak to me tonight? A long pause. Then he said, voice low. Because I knew once I started, I wouldn't stop. You blinked, stunned. What do you mean? His back remained turned. I watched you for years. But wanting you, that was never part of the job. Silence. Your breath was shaky. And now, you whispered. He finally turned, stepping forward until he stood just inches away. His eyes were no longer empty. They were. Now, it's all I can think about. You didn't move. Couldn't move. Your heart thundered in joy. Say something, he said, voice, or I won't be able to walk away. You looked into his eyes and the silence stretched. Finally, you whispered. Then don't walk away. The rain had returned by morning. You sat at the edge of your bed, brushing your fingers along the of your robe, still half unable to believe what had happened the night before. He spoke. He wants you. You turned your gaze toward the window, and there he was. Jungkook standing in the garden, rain soaking into his black shirt, sleeves rolled to his elbows, hands clenched at his sides. He wasn't just a shadow anymore. He was real. A man who had held himself back for years. And now he was unraveling. You pushed the door open and stepped outside. The rain cold on your warm with something else. You walked slowly down the stone path toward him. He heard your footsteps, turned. You stood in front of him, rain pooling in the hollow of your collarbone, hair damp and clinging to your face. You'll catch a cold, he murmured. His voice was gentler this time. Then Warm me up, you said softly. His jaw clenched, and then his hand cupped your cheek, warm, large, like he had dreamt of this for years. You don't know what you're asking, he whispered. I'm not gentle. I've done things. You don't know who I really am. You leaned into water streaming down both your faces. I don't care what you've done. I know what you've been to me. You've protected me when no one else did. You stayed even when I didn't know your name. His hand slid down to your neck, holding you there, thumb brushing. You shouldn't want someone like me. But I do. He stared at you, and then his forehead to yours, his breath warm despite the rain. I never said your name aloud, not even when I was alone. I didn't want to give it power. Say it now. He closed his eyes. Ryan. The words seemed to still in that moment. Then his, slow, unsure, as if he was scared. This was a dream. But when you, him back, trembling, something in him broke. His arms wrapped around you, pulling you against him. The rain poured, but neither of you moved inside. His hands, your back, holding you like he'd waited years for this. Because he had. Later, you lay wrapped in a blanket by the place in your room. The storm had quieted to a gentle whisper. Jungkook sat behind you, arm around your waist, hand stroking your lazily. You leaned back against his, heart still fluttering. I didn't think I'd ever have this, he murmured. You turned your head, brushing his jaw. Why? His voice was, because I never thought I deserved peace. You rested your hand over his. You do, with me, you do. He was quiet for a moment, then he whispered, then I'll spend the rest of my life protecting it. Months passed. The mansion was quieter now, not in a lonely way, but in a warm, peaceful one. The kind of silence you chose, not the kind by fear. Jungkook still watched the doors, still walked the perimeter at dusk. But his eyes no longer held ghosts, only you. You came downstairs, wearing one of his black shirts, the sleeves too long. He stood in the kitchen, down his back, catching the morning light. You wrapped your arms around his waist from behind. "You're not on duty today," you whispered. He smiled, a rare thing only you ever got to see. "I'm never off duty when it comes to you." You reached around and held up a folded piece of paper. "I wrote something last night." He turned. "What is it?" You opened the paper and read softly. "To the man who stood in silence, who bore the weight of 100 storms, who said nothing until he spoke my name, and I knew what safety felt like." He didn't say a word at first, but his hand lifted, brushing your cheek with his thumb. "I never needed to speak," he said, "but now I want to, every day, for the rest of our lives." You smiled and leaned your forehead against his. "Then talk to me, Jungkook." You again. And this time, there was no hesitation. Only love, only peace. Only the two of you.
Gonna make it till sometime.